Today we get a chat with comedian Luke Severeid. I hope you enjoy. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good, good. You are from Washington, correct?
Yup.
So we are probably enemies today.
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
No?
I
Oh,
mean,
good.
isn't every American an enemy of another American? Isn't that kind of what we've been doing for a while? And now we're just
Yeah,
like,
that's what
no,
it
no.
seems like.
This team of a bunch of peasants that had the physical prowess to be bought and paid for by a bunch of billionaires. That's who I identify with, and I hate my fellow peasants' representation by other peasants. Now they shall concuss each other. And in a couple decades, when I find out that they murdered their wife and kids, I'll be like, oh my God, he shouldn't have. That highlight reel is what led to the murder of a spouse. All right.
Ah,
So,
no,
how are
very,
you
very true.
today?
I'm well. I'm well. It was such a good, happy segue.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. I super appreciate it. I don't
No.
know if you know much about the channel or what I do, but usually I'm interviewing metal musicians. So I thought it would be really fun to have you on, not only because you're, funny and you're fun, but also you talk a lot about metal music in your comedy acts. So I thought it would be a perfect kind of segue to something different. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So you have been super busy lately. First, I definitely want to talk about what you do. You've been super busy. You seem to be constantly going, constantly on the road, which is so awesome. When do you feel like that went from like kind of more of the shows here and there, casual shows to like full schedule?
Oh, well, I don't know if there's like a defining moment, but like I've been full time for about a little bit over 3 years now. And initially being based out of Washington at that time, it was a lot of like producing shows. Because I know how to run like an Eventbrite. I know how to run a show. I can run a door. I can host a show. And I was kind of doing that for a while and then realized when the internet started popping with my clips doing well on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, I was like, oh, I'm kind of tired of having to rely on other people having good clips for me to run ads on. And I'm like running ads through my accounts anyway. So I was like, why don't I just I know how to headline. How about I just lean in that direction? And that really is when that started. So I don't like. There's not like a when is the calendar full? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, when I send enough emails, like
Yeah.
that's when it. So,
Yeah.
uh,
What
yeah,
a cool thing to be able to do though for a living.
yes, very. It's so cool. It's just the and this always sounds like lace handcuffs or whatever the proper term is, but it is such a weirdly like I'm my own boss, and turns out my boss is so much dumber than he should be, and he needs to know so much more, and everything is his responsibility. And turns out my boss only became the boss because he's was the only one there, and also he's mostly a creative who just wants to smoke pot and yell funny things, and he has to learn how to be better at accounting and all that other stuff. But all good complaints. I'm just going,
Yeah.
wow, I just want to use the left side of my brain.
Right, right.
You know,
Well, yeah, because there obviously is a lot more that goes on behind the scenes and things that you have to do. So it's not all just fun and games, unfortunately. There is definitely a business aspect of things and probably a lot of learning curves.
yeah, yeah. And I've gone through a bunch of them, but then you level up, and then you're like, oh, what's the next learning curve? You're like,
Yeah.
you'll figure it out.
Yeah. I have two businesses and I'm constantly
Yeah.
just feeling like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the most unifying experiences of as a human is both all everyone's just kind of like
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially these days. I mean, outside of personal businesses, just the world in general. Like I don't think anybody knows anything about anything anymore. It's just kind of a cluster. So thank you
Yeah.
for making us laugh in the midst of it. We need the music and we need the laughter now more than
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
So when did you become a metalhead? Obviously, this is not a new thing. It's to the depths of your soul. And what was your black little soul? What was like the bands that got you kind of toward that direction?
Well, honestly, I only got into it about 3 years ago and wrote a couple jokes, and then that popped off. So I'm a poser. No, I'm kidding. Oh my
Oh my
God, thanks
gosh,
for your
I was like,
space.
there's no way because you talk about it so passionately. That would have been wild. I would have been like,
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to be in acting.
I know. I actually think that that's just a fun narrative that I should push more often because it is weird to talk about a thing that like I'm tapping onto like a fandom, people's personal fandom that is tied to so many life experiences, and then they just go, well, like it's just this weird, and you're like, fucking dog, I'm just a dude who yells. Like I'm not I like metal music, but it's not my god. And for some
Yeah.
people, it's like, this is my religion. I was like, I
Oh yeah.
don't like any religion, but I'm glad you're happy. Don't put that pressure on me, dude. I'm just trying to make you go ha ha ha, and then
Right.
trick you into buying merch from me because I want your goddamn money.
You have
Um,
some merch.
yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it was teen years because raised religious sheltered, nice parents, but they just I don't get it. I don't want it around. It sounds like it might be Satan related, blah blah blah. But early on, I mean, my first concert, I saw Pantera Slayer at the Tacoma Dome, like in
Jeez.
Washington. So like big arena, and that was like way too high of a bar of expectation to set for like metal shows in Washington State in particular because we're so far removed from the tour circuit.
Yeah.
Um, and that was actually their last US show they ever played together, Pantera, that is. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, I think they had one that was the Extreme Steel tour. I think it was like June 2nd, 2001. Maybe someone on the internet could fact check that. I could do that. I don't care that much. Uh, and I really enjoyed that. That was great. But I will say like what really scratched the itch initially that got me like fully hooked was Slipknot's self-titled.
Hmm.
Because that was like around ninth grade for me. I'm 39. And that Corey's the vocals of him, the yelling that he did, and then also the melodic singing because that was I was raised in the church, and so like actual like melody is kind of I don't have an aversion to it. I prefer like a 70-30 split. I want 70 harsh vocals and then 30 of the cleans.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think that was the album. And then like LD50 a little bit after that. So I definitely like kind of came into during that new metal phase. But like LD50, like that's the album that made me want to play bass just because
Oh,
the way Ryan made everything sound. I was like, this is so
so you're a musician yourself as well.
I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian who has gear that he used to play often with. I don't really as much as I used to, just because I got 500 jobs to do to have one career.
Did you play in a band before you started doing all this then?
A little bit, but
Nice.
there's not a lot of music out here, and also bands is navigating everyone's schedule, their work schedule, their girlfriend schedule, their ego schedule, and
Really?
yeah, and comedy just comedy happened after I kind of gave up on music being something that I would pursue because even didn't even get to the stage where we started to like tour in any capacity. It was just kind of like local things. And I also feel, I mean, comedy is a an absurd dream to pursue, but any like just the idea of like touring and then having to do all of that, like it's cool to do it as a group, but like the amount of money it costs, like
Yeah.
you need to be young and fine with sleeping on not beds
Yep.
or for a long period of time. And yeah, man, like more power to you, but it's only getting harder and harder to
It
do that sort
is.
of thing.
It
Like to
is.
have a functioning touring career as any kind of artist, like you also need to have either rich parents or a large online following that can
Yeah.
only be accrued in a variety of ways, which also takes a lot of spare resources and time and energy to do.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking what's happened to the or to the music industry, but definitely to the metal part of it because, yeah, the making money and being able to live off of it seems like it's coming to be a thing in the past, which is so stupid because music is something that like we all speak. It's something that is a big part of so many people's lives. Music, in general, obviously doesn't have to be metal. Metal is just a little bit more. I think the fan base is a little bit more passionate. Um, but it's crazy that we're not like financially taking care of these people that are always there for us and help us through like the hardest of times.
Yeah, well, I think that's just uh I have a hard time talking and not sounding like conspiracy theory adjacent, or maybe I'm just going like, here's a fact. Oh, it's just COVID made a bunch of businesses have to close down, and a bunch of large corporations gobble them up, and then you have Live Nation and Ticketmaster are the same company, and that's a monopoly, and they were going to get broken up, but shout out 47 for stopping that. We need more monopolies. And yeah, so that's also like I have a general theory that's why we're seeing so much a resurgence of like new metal and all these other bands. And I'm not complaining about that, but it's like the economy is getting worse, so they have to go, hey, what's a known entity? What's a known IP? We're just going to push that. We're going to have, Papa Roach tour. We don't have any. We have a smaller number of new artists, new bands that are really cracking through the surface.
For sure.
Um, and so that's just, I mean, and I nothing against Papa Roach or whoever. But it's like when I was a teenager, I was never going to be like, oh man, when I'm double my age, Papa Roach is still going to be headlining. Like
Right.
yeah, it just felt like new metal had its phase and now it's
Yeah.
coming back, which is awesome because it also is probably part of the reason I am doing well. So I'm
Yeah.
not complaining, but I'm also just like, oh, systemically, this isn't good for making new art as much as
Yeah.
it was in the past.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So curiosity, because I don't know how the business side of comedy works. Financially, it sounds like you are probably more taken care of under the comedy umbrella than maybe the musicians.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, but also I didn't do enough research as a musician to say otherwise. I just know I don't necessarily have to cut the check 4 or 5 ways.
Totally.
And also I don't have to haul a bass cap
Right.
anywhere.
For sure. Um,
Um,
so but you're most of like and you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but like with bands, obviously the majority of what they make comes from their like t-shirt sales, because albums aren't really a thing anymore. So is that the same with you? Is it soft merch or is it more like because you're, just one person and you're getting paid by the venues and maybe venues pay better when it comes to comedy? I don't know.
Well, it's mostly door deals. That's my main paycheck, and but merch is a large part of it. That's a very straightforward way to make sure that you support an artist is by buying merch directly from them.
Yeah.
And I pretty much I only at this point in my career because I can't I'm low enough that this is the case, but I haven't done any venues where I have to give the venue a cut of my merch because as soon as I see that in a contract, I get fucking livid because I'm
Yeah.
like I had to buy this
Yeah.
and now you're charging me a percentage just to sell it to the people that I marketed to, like my fans.
Yep.
So you're taking a cut of their money that they're trying to give to me because the thing I did with them for them.
Ah,
Go fuck yourself.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're a theater. You're like, yeah, man, sounds like you already have enough commas in your bank account, you fucking fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm not sorry. The comedian's not very comical this morning. But
Hey, no, it's a
time.
realistic and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't have
Um,
you don't have to be funny all the time, man. You can be
true,
human.
but I like to address that I know what I'm doing. I like to be like, I freaking know how I sound right now. Sorry, I don't have more joy. I watch the news and I'm a little bit irked.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's mostly directly through the venue. So but that is usually like door deals and stuff like that. But I'm also at a stage where I've been figuring out how to run ads and market myself for the, half a decade plus.
Yeah.
So I'm able to get a good paycheck most times. But it is
Yeah.
like the with the door deals, the way it's set up, it's like they get a cut. There's a certain percentage, and you have to meet a certain profit margin to the venue, and then you get a piece of the pie. Like, so it's like I have to sell in certain venues, I have to, based off of ad spend and travel and everything like that. Once I do that math, and each show is its own equation, but after I break past like the 55 ticket sale mark, that's when I'm in the green, and then everything on top of that is good.
Yeah.
So, and it's all really market testing. It's like, how am I going to do in Tampa, Orlando? How am I going to do in Boston, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Richmond, like all these places.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of trial and error, but yes,
Yes.
not exclusively merch sales.
Okay, cool. Speaking of merch though, that last t-shirt design that
Oh yeah.
you put out, I got one for me and for my son because I just freaking loved it. Do you have like someone that designed that for you, or is that how does
Yeah,
that work on that?
it was this guy Nick Hills. I'm pretty sure Nick Hills. Yes, he's down in Australia. He messaged me and it was just like, hey man, I dig your style, and I was like, checked out his stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, because his style, it was very very funny. We did a Zoom just because I'm better at talking than typing,
Really?
and just kind of get his vibe, and also just be like, all right, what do you think you'd want to make, and what do I think I would want, because I'm also the guy who has to spend thousands of dollars to buy the shirts, and then I'm the guy on stage going, buy my trinket, please. I'm gonna
Right.
make you, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Uh, and I mentioned that I enjoy Jordan Buckley's artwork from Every Time I Die. He had a like an art clothing line for a little while called Jordan Buckley Worldwide, and he stopped doing that a while ago, and I was really bummed because like that was just my. It was nice to have like graphic shirts that were seemed like band shirts but weren't a band, because it's nice to not have to, sometimes I don't want to
Freestyle.
co-sign a band all the time.
Right.
Sometimes I read some of a singer's thinkity thoughts and I go, I don't like that as
Yeah.
much as I'm sure someone at this point has seen me say something and I was like, I don't like his opinion on the thing. You're like, all right. But it was very funny to be like, hey man, I enjoy this style. This is kind of and it seems like his art style leaned in that direction. And he goes, oh yeah, and then showed me a photo he had framed of like a Jordan Buckley piece, and I was like, oh yeah, and then I had the same one in my room too, and I was like, oh.
Oh,
So yeah, he designed that, and I actually just last night I did a show in Everett, Washington, and because you have to find the jokes for the merch. Like,
uh,
and I write a lot on stage. You have ideas off stage, but then on stage in the moment, the adrenaline kind of, it just makes it so you take all the pieces that were kind of bounced around in your brain, and then they kind of go, oh, here's what you want. And you're like, good job in the moment,
wow.
me. Um, but I did the shirt. Guy hit me up from Australia, liked what I did. He messaged me saying that he wanted to do a drawing for me, and I was like, "Cool, what is it going to be of?" And he said, "I'm going to make a drawing of your great 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 grandfather." And then I unfurl it, and it's just this picture of an ape with a big beard, and I got a really good laugh. And that's where I'm like, oh, that'll be the sales pitch. That'll just be the quick little joke, because you want
Yeah.
to keep it as short as possible. But it's like it's a dope design too.
Oh,
Like the
it's so
dude does
cool.
great. The amount of detail in the mouth of the tongue, and I was like, oh my god, it rips.
Yes. So have the sales for that one been really good? Really good?
Oh yeah, pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I was trying to run my online store, but that's a whole other beast that I haven't, that's the ninth job that I haven't quite figured out.
Right.
And I'm gonna be working on that more later. But in person, because I ordered like 500, so I'm like, but they've been, and I got them maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they've been moving pretty well.
Awesome.
Pretty well. Yeah, yeah. And then I still have my kids don't deserve drug shirts. I'm gonna be phasing that one out. But like, yeah, I think last night I sold at least, 10 of those shirts. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I would say that's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. When you are not the funny man at night, what are you usually doing during the day?
Working. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, editing videos, working on promos, trying to figure out how to have hobbies again and
Uh,
the ability to properly change gears so that I don't feel like a maniac who's neglecting things when I am trying to relax. Um,
Great.
I like to hike. If I'm using, definitely spend a lot of time as a manual laborer. So if I use my body, my brain kind of shuts up more. So hiking's great. I live in Washington and we have a lot of beautiful hills out here. The weather might not be the best all the time, but that also makes the trees green.
Yeah.
Uh, and I enjoy some video games. Yeah, I don't really have hobbies. I think I used to have hobbies, and then I've had to focus on work for so long that I just go,
Yeah.
"Ah."
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's important, and something that I like to ask everybody because I think it's important is self-care, because you got to find balance in life as best as you can. And obviously, like you said, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes and a lot that you're doing. So what are some things that you do like to help your mental health, self-care when you can't find the balance?
Oh, pot, but that's not a full-on correction. That's honestly it is the hiking. But like even
Hmm.
the self-care routines are tied to the creative process, which is tied to everything, which is tied to capitalism. So it's like I don't really have all of my relaxation and self-care routines are tied to navigating and then being more effective at pursuing the goals. I'm Yeah, this is the last couple. What show did we? Was it? It was down in Florida. No, where were we when we interacted? When we met?
We we haven't met face to face.
Why the fuck?
I'm in Boise, Idaho.
Why am I? No, see what happens. I had a show, and then you messaged me, and then my brain just like
Connected
there's
the
so
two.
many faces. Yeah, it was just because it was
Yep.
such a quick overlap that, and then I saw that you're like Boise, and I was like, did I? No. Okay. Anyways, where was I going with that? Oh, the I feel like I'm kind of like hitting a crest with my career that I will have the financial stability to relax more and to be more
Yes.
intentional with like going, hey, what is your self-care? You're like, oh, I do this over here and don't worry. I just have not had I've had all of the free time, but none of the ability to enjoy because I have a broken brain and also I need to fix my shit. Um, Long story short, yeah, hiking. Hiking's nice. Get
Yep.
outside, leave your phone in the car,
For sure.
be around people that
Hmm.
you like and you can make laugh. That's always nice. I love to be able to spend a full day just hanging out and the phone's in another room,
Yeah.
which sounds as old as I am, I guess, but it's these digital rectangles that we're using to communicate in someone's life, like it's just meant to suck. I don't think souls are real, but it's meant to suck whatever bit of energy you have out of you.
Yep. 100%. I agree with that. And that's where the reviving of that energy we get from comedy, we get from music, we get from,
Yeah.
things that bring life back. Nature, I mean, being outside just brings life back into life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also nice to be reminded that like things are still happening, even if things are constantly happening. Like it's I don't meditate nearly as much as I used to. I
Mm.
it's a habit I know I need to keep getting back into and doing yoga more often. Which is it's hard to like get back into that after you've been out of it because it's just it's so annoying to be like I'm getting my ass kicked by a stretch. Okay,
Right.
yeah, but the more I have that in the routine, the better my whole body feels, and the bouncier I am on stage, the performance gets better. But where was I going with that thought? I don't know. It's yeah, more people need to disassociate from rectangles.
Yeah.
Um, Stay engaged as best you can, be aware, but like just the anxiety of being absorbed is what the system is designed to do to you. Our indignation is monetized.
Mm. Yep. Yep,
Yep.
unfortunately true. But it is a simple fix when it comes to that, but it's for whatever reason it's simple thought. It's difficult to
Hmm.
put into action.
Yeah, easier said than done.
It is. That documentary that they brought out, it's been a few years ago, that was discussing, like it was talking about algorithms and all that, but then also was just discussing how there is a part of your brain that the addictive part of your brain that does
Mhm.
get addicted to social media, that does get addicted to just phones in general. It was a really interesting documentary that I was like, okay, like I know that, but also this really put it into like words that made it even more obvious and even more like this is not healthy, this is not good. So for a while I was really good about it and then
Yeah, you backslide.
slowly. Yeah,
Yeah. I I am constantly aware that social media is the reason I have a career. It's the only reason I
right.
have a career. I have a skill set, but no one knew who I was online until about 3 years ago when Meta and TikTok graced me with exposure. And
Yeah,
then I just kept feeding that beast. And then I learned to how to run ads better on these meta platforms and give money to billionaires. So, like, yes, thank you, Father Zuckerberg and China's government, and now Oracle, who owns TikTok. Shout out to the fucking police state. Um, but I also know that social media is the reason why society is crumbling. It's the reason why like the radicalization of so many elements of our society and the spread of misinformation. It's like it's heroin and we're all addicted to heroin. And I know every day I need to make a little bit of heroin to put on the free heroin platforms in hopes that a bunch of people who I probably would like and get along with in person are compelled to do some heroin so that
right.
eventually down the road, when I'm near their home, they come see me do in person heroin at them
Mm-hmm.
and then buy a merch
Right.
afterwards. And you're like, so it just, I don't know, it's well, I forget the name of that Tool song, but I think it's off there off of Undertow. I don't know. I don't, no one get mad at me. I don't get mad at me, Tool fans. I don't give a shit. But it's just the life feeds on life, feeds on life, feeds on life, and then it's like this is necessary. Shotgun blast, and it just
Mhm.
definitely feels very the consumption nature of everything is just more prevalent. And I go, I can't stop playing the game. I'm not rich enough to stop playing the game.
Right.
And also, I love to play the game, but also I'm like, the game is fucking the devil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No,
God, I'm
I
so fun this morning.
No, it's important. I mean, it's important topics and honestly it is a little bit difficult to be fun these days, you know. So you do what you do at night and you give us the peace that we need in the midst of all this chaos and all this craziness.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to write jokes that I like about the terrible things too. And that's just hard to navigate as well, especially when they're even just going, yeah, murdering civilians isn't great. And people are like, well, actually, and you're like, all
Right.
right, man, all right,
Yeah.
man. And I'm supposed to make you laugh or try to make you feel compassion for a person who you have more in common with than Joe Rogan
Mm,
or whatever millionaire podcaster you listen to that tells you that your fellow civilian is the enemy because they're woke or whatever. It's yeah, man. It's disheartening to see how effective Russian propaganda and how effective just the all these platforms are at making us mad at each other just for ad
yep.
revenue. Really, ultimately,
Right.
it's just ad revenue, and then that coincides perfectly with a man who just wants to be a dictator
Yep.
before as he dies.
Right. Right. Yep.
You're not supposed
Yep.
to wish death on someone, and I'm like, why? I'm not a wizard. My wishes don't come true.
You're like cast fireball.
You're like lightning. I want my god to smite him. Actually, that's what I want. But I don't believe in God. But I will. if a lightning bolt, I'd be like, okay, what's up, Yahweh? All right, let's talk, dude. Still mad about the haircut you made me have, but look at that.
You're like, I'm back.
Okay,
I
see, I need to
interviewed.
take that and do a version of that on stage.
There
That would be
you go.
fun. That would be fun. There we go. Okay, we found some laughs. It only took 30 minutes of me going, the systemic issues. I'm a white guy, and I finally realized everything is not great. My privilege doesn't apply to everything. That's not ideal.
Right. Oh my gosh. No, for sure. So like with a lot of people obviously call metal that don't understand it, or in some of it is angry. Oh, it just seems like they're
Mm,
so angry. It just seems like, the we've heard it all, the Satan worshipers, the why
yep.
are you mad all the time, the whatever people outside that just don't understand. But in that same vein, there are some releases and some bands that are coming out with more anger because of the world.
Mhm.
Which I mean, I'm sure the same for you is helpful because it's that commonality. It's that I feel that too. And so it almost is like this shared, which is weirdly and the anger feeling, but yet it calms down, right? Because you feel like that, I don't know, commonality, whatever, brotherhood, whatever. Um, do you have bands that are more recent bands or recent releases that you felt like has helped with like catharsis with helping kind of
Ooh,
level you?
man, I need to have more answers at the forefront of my mind. Especially when it comes to music things. Uh, and I hate that I need to qualify things like this, but like I haven't really paid attention to the lyrics because I
Sure.
don't have time to be a music fan like I used to be.
Ah,
Because a lot of times like metalheads, especially metalheads, they nerd out, they go down, they rabbit hole, and I'm like, dog, I don't have time to be a fan. I don't have
ah,
the spare give a fuck to be a
mm-hmm.
fan of another artist. I'm too busy going, I gotta keep making my art. But
Ah,
the algorithm presented Abbey Falls,
huh?
and they had an album come out in December, and that's kind of been in rotation. Just the fucking some good chugga chugs with some weird just like kind of almost industrial esque. Where just kind of like scratches the like new metal had that a little bit too, where you're like, here's just some beeps and boops,
Yeah.
but they're timed with the drums, and here's like a boom, a bass boom, and you're like, oh, I'll swing kettlebells while you scream at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that I've really enjoyed, that I didn't ever think I would enjoy because it has like I don't know, I might be misclassifying this, but like a dubstep, I think is kind of what it's considered. But the Browning, they have
Okay.
some very interesting, like I don't know if that's the correct word for it or not, but they're absolutely incredible. They somehow ended up on a pop festival, but they're totally metal, and it
Yeah.
was funny because it was showing the crowd while they were playing, and the crowd like are first kind of like laughing and looking at each other like what is happening, and then pretty soon like people are like bobbing their heads with them and really getting into it, and it was so cool to see a totally different genre of people that had no idea that this was going to happen, like you can see fall in love with what they were doing. It was
Mhm.
the freaking coolest thing. There's obviously a video out there because I was not there.
Yeah.
I would not be at a pop festival, but
I that's very fun. It's also fun when like a band can transcend that just because like you're like just hook onto the drums. Like we got good swinging beats or whatever. Like here's some good chugga chugs, and the front man is being a showman
yeah,
to where you're like, all right, if you guys are, I'm having a good time, shouldn't you? Like, there's no
right.
reason not to. We're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things about metal. It's hard to not have a good time. Another band, if you haven't listened to them, that you might enjoy is Spite. Have you heard of
Okay.
them before? They're
Heard of them. Haven't really checked them out though.
they're insane live, and they're just an incredible band.
Yeah, I have. I yeah, I don't pay attention to music as much as I should,
Hmm.
which is so
Yeah.
silly to say, but it's like
Well, you're
because
busy.
even when I'm like working, I tend to like lean towards music with no vocals
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
it's because my brain latches even if I can't understand because it's just yelling or whatever, my brain
Hmm.
goes, what's the shape of this? And I'm like, I'm breaking my own train of thought. I'm trying to
Yep.
type or I'm trying to, and it's like, and I'm like, what did he mean by that? Like,
No,
yeah.
that's smart. So do you listen to like Animals as Leaders, Polyphia, those kind of things, or is it like totally is it like classical? Because that's supposed to really enlighten your brain.
I should. I haven't fucked with classical in a while.
Yep.
And I was big into animals as leaders back in the day, and nothing against them now, by any means. Very, very talented. It just doesn't scratch the itch like it did. And also, it's just I saw him live a little bit ago, and like I know this is no, all metalheads talk shit, and I'm not talking shit, but I was just like, so many of the songs sort of sound like other songs that they
Oh,
already have.
hmm.
Because I'm not a percussionist, so I'm not just like, oh, this is a 1742 sound, like a time signature, and then they can like, I'm not, I'm not smart in that way to be like, I appreciate it, but anyways, uh, some post rock bands that's kind of mellow. I enjoy like a slow crescendo, and that's easier, especially if it's like repetition, because it makes it easier for if I'm working on a bit, it's like going over a piece over and over and over again as it
Yeah.
slowly gets built up. So that kind of coincides well with some of that, and it's also a little bit more mellow,
Mhm.
because you don't need every writing session doesn't need to be a da, 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 da,
Like,
da, da,
yeah.
da. And then some bands that I enjoy release albums like without vocals, like and that's great. Like Polaris did that. Like
Oh, that like
uh,
a second album that they take that they do just
yeah,
the instrumental. Yeah.
yeah. And
Unprocessed
then I know Silent Planet's
Wonders.
done that. And the nothing against the vocalists, I enjoy them very much. But when they're gone, I'm like, oh, I'm the vocalist. I'm like, I'm gonna
Right.
think my thoughts over this music that I already like. And then also you get to notice layers of the instrumental that
Oh,
were not as noticeable because the vocals were, that's what we mostly latch on to because that's what most of us can do a version of.
right. Yeah. No, I agree. I love instrumental music. My favorite guitar player is John Five, and he has
Mm.
all solo albums that don't have any lyrics, you know. And I honestly, when you said the lyrics thing earlier, even as a someone that consumes a lot of music for doing this, I very rarely will listen to the lyrics unless they're saying something that really catches my ear or I feel is like really prominent. If they're talking about important things, then I'll pay attention. But the majority of the time, I'm definitely listening to the musical aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean that's what we latch on to. And also I just think, and maybe this is a generational thing, but used to just buy a CD and then listen to it and just be like, I'm gonna read along.
Yes.
And now it's just all streaming bullshit. And then
Yeah.
maybe if you're looking in the app, you can see the lyrics if that happens to be tied to it. But
Right. Oh my gosh, when I was younger, because I'm 43, I used to go to the CD stores and I would look at and like I'd go to the metal section and be like, "Oh, that one looks cool." Like I didn't know, you didn't get to preview them ahead of time, so you just kind of like were like, "Hopefully, I'm not wasting my money." But I'd go through bands that I liked, their thank yous, and they would usually thank other bands. So then I'd go and
yeah.
check out like that band, and I think that's how I found Snot, which became one of my all-time favorite bands.
Well, I mean, I'm wearing Let Live shirt right now. Saw them at Orlando at
Oh,
Warp
nice.
Tour, and they broke up a while ago. Their album Fake History was like heavy rotation for me, decade ago. What like years 3 and 4 of me doing stand up comedy was like that album was just in. I had a truck at the time, and that CD was in there, and yeah, a lot of trips to and from open mics with Jason screaming at me.
Awesome.
But I found them because of a Facebook post Circa Survive made of
Hmm.
just being like, hey, this band's good. We co-signed them. And I was like, I'll check them out. And then I was like, oh, I like this. Okay.
No, it got to be the soundtrack of a couple years of your life then. Probably
Yeah.
brings some nostalgia now.
Yeah. Which is also what it circles back to me being like, hey, I'm going to talk about metal music. And people are like, oh, you're like, you're coming at me with the memory of your life, which is grateful, gratitude, blah, blah, blah. But it's also just like, I don't know. It's an odd energy to
Yeah.
also figure out how to navigate and calibrate to each individual.
Yeah.
And I'm my own neurotic person. So, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I don't want to take a whole lot of your time. You need to be able to have some downtime and hopefully some relaxation time if you're able to get
Sure.
that. But I do very much appreciate you taking this time with me. It means a
Yeah.
lot to be able to do something different, and it's cool to have you on the channel. And I look forward to people that in the metal community that maybe haven't like heard of you yet being able to see it for the first time and be able to laugh along with what we all again have experienced being metalheads from from people on the outside. You're pretty good at
Yeah,
at
well, which
explaining
is
that.
a very fun, like that is the first bit that really popped on the internet was that it was the genre joke. Just going like telling someone you like metal music, they react like as if you just showed them exactly what genre of porn you're into.
Right.
And it's so funny because I'm leading up to record a thing in Minneapolis in a couple weeks. Great city to do everything in, I guess.
Oh geez, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But like, and I'm figuring out the set, and then I realized so many of my jokes have been written from a standpoint. Like I honed the bits in rooms that didn't have metalheads in them, and now the rooms are full of them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I need to adjust the phrasing, but also not make it so niche that I'm leaving out the parts that bring in the outsiders.
Totally.
So, but I also think that that is if I'm going to blow smoke up my own asshole, which is hard because I haven't been doing enough yoga, but I'll try anyways. Is that I think because this a lot of metalheads don't feel understood, and that's
Yep.
why they enjoy this genre of music because you
Yep.
have an unease in you that is just foundational.
Yep.
And then when something outside harmonizes with that, you go, "Ooh, I'm at neutral.
Oh,
I'm at baseline finally."
yeah.
Um, and so being able to write jokes in a way that explain why you enjoy a thing to make an outside person go, oh, and then you feel that like, oh, I'm seen and I'm understood, I'm safe, I belong,
Yep.
and you're not judging me for me being who I am, and I can't change that.
Mm.
Um, that's why I also think it's wild that metal is swung conservative in the last couple of years, but so has culture. Because I'm like, I think foundationally, you're misaligned, my guy.
Yes. Well, there's
Yeah,
punk bands out there too that are doing that, and you're like, that is not where that genre originated from. Like, it's super wild. But I don't know. It almost feels like we're living in two completely different worlds, and there's just no way to communicate through it because there's it's almost like I'm not even parallel universes, like completely different universes that somehow squish together, and everybody's like,
yeah.
what? No one can
Well, it's
understand each other.
we have our own artisanal echo chambers,
Yeah.
but the reality is not an echo chamber; it's
Mm.
reality.
Yep.
But these digital echo chambers are thoroughly reinforced, and I'm very exhausted by the both sides
Yeah.
ism that has been.
Hmm.
It's believe me, both sides are complicit. Lobbyists have all them bought and paid for. One side is just way more effective at fueling the fires of our destruction.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to we should end on a high note somehow, but I want to be more proactive in trying to figure out how to write jokes and have an online presence that is more in the ways that the men who I liked coming up in comedy, the Rogans, the Chappelles, the whatever the fuck, and how they swung things to the right, I would like to try to counteract to the left in a way that is not alienating. And that's a very frustrating thing because I'm
Yeah.
trying to engage with, say, like a 22-year-old dude who might like my jokes. But when I go, hey, this is my perception of this, they show up with 500 talking points that are a lot, that are based somewhat in reality, but also a lot in not reality. And some of my shit is not 100%
Yeah.
accurate either because it's impossible to do those things. And it's on platforms that do not want us to actually find common ground. It
Yep.
just wants engagement.
Yep.
And I don't know what you said that made me go on that, but I'm stating my intent or whatever the
Yeah. Trying to
fuck.
figure out how to bridge that gap a little bit through comedy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
because
that's
it
wonderful.
we bridge the gap to fascism through comedy. I
Yeah.
got to watch my I don't know. I mean, Chappelle was a hero for quite some time, not
Mhm.
anymore. But like, it's disheartening to watch the people you respect go, "Oh, you were one part of the brick that built the wall that
Mhm.
is holding us in an internment camp."
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
so what's a good note to end on?
Right. Hmm.
uh, Well, sorry, you were trying to do a dismount, and I was like, derail, tangent,
That's
sadness.
yeah, it happens so often when I do these, and it's either me or the other person of where it's like, hold on, I had a thought, and then yeah, it'll be like another like 20 minutes, and then I'm all okay, but really,
But
I'm
really,
gonna let you go.
yeah, yeah. Well, can I say off all the places I'm going? So if someone
Yes,
who listens
please,
to you doesn't know who I am, they
please,
might
please.
check me out and tell me to my face that I should support the president.
They're gonna show up just specifically for that, and you're like, hey, as long as you paid the ticket price and got a shirt, then you can say whatever you want.
And I'm gonna hope that sometime ICE comes to their neighborhood and they need to leave to go get groceries, and a short king wearing a mask gets upset, and then 12 of them tackle him and execute them in front of their family.
Right, right.
That's I you shouldn't wish death on anyone, but my wishes don't come true. I'm not a fucking wizard. But oh man, in that final moment, you might go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been
Yeah.
sucking the boot of a dictator.
Hmm.
Anyways, I'm
Yeah.
mad. Not
No.
at I'm not I'm mad at yeah, I'm mad at everything. Anyways,
And we should be
here's
mad. So,
yes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But also you need to calibrate the rage to change the mind instead of just
Yes.
going, you're wrong, you're wrong. You're like,
Yes.
cool, that's worked out so fucking well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely
Turns
not. No,
out
I
if
agree.
you scream you're wrong at someone, it takes very little effort for another person to go, you know what? You're not wrong. They're actually just whiny little fucks. Anyway, so I'll be on the road. Uh I got
This in
what
person.
yeah, if you want to hear this into a PA. Do if you want to spend money to hear this yelled at you.
Okay.
So I have a Beery in Washington. That's this week, and then week after that, I got Richmond, Virginia, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Washington D.C., Baltimore, and then I have Minneapolis the week after that. I got Renton, Washington, Tacoma, Washington, Jacksonville, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, St. Louis, Missouri, just announced that. And then Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, California. And then also I got Denver, Colorado. Those tickets should be live by the time you post this. And then I'll be adding more and more and more. Just got to send more emails.
Yes, yes. Well, I would love for you to make it back over here. I know you were just here not super long ago.
Yeah.
But we have a really awesome metal community here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's pretty I always feel like it's like a sliver of like the LA punk scene or the Seattle grunge scene. Like we have a pretty strong community here. So yeah, it'd be cool to get a bunch of us together to come and see you.
I would love that. I mean, I have gone to Boise. I know how to pronounce it. It was eventually a white person was like, you know, you've been saying that wrong. And I'm like, I've been visiting here for years and none of you corrected me. And
Oh,
you
you were
guys like to
saying
act like,
Boise?
yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah.
guys like to act like you're not a part of the Pacific Northwest, but not correcting me is so passive aggressive. Like, just be like, oh, yeah, he's not from around here, idiot. Like, yeah. But yeah, I've been there a bunch and the crowds have always been great. I actually used to play this venue called Mad Swede, and unfortunately, they just closed like a week or so ago. But I know you guys have Lounge at the End of the Universe. I haven't worked there yet, but I'll hit them up and I'd love to come through. I got some lining up some Salt Lake City stuff for later this year, and maybe I can just make a nice little drive out
Ah,
of it.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you're right next to us, so
Yeah, it's just
like
a
you were
short 8 hour drive. That's all. That's it. That's
know
just a
why all of these tours are not doing that for
yeah.
Idaho. I'm
Yeah,
like,
who would
come
have
on.
come on. And
It's
then we're
winter
past
and
that. Yeah.
right.
Oh, you don't want to go through all of our passes?
Right.
Yeah, but
Which this year it's been fine. We haven't had any snow, which has been so bizarre.
yeah, well, climate change isn't real.
Yeah, right. Right.
That's just it is woke. Everything that we don't like is woke, and eventually
Mhm.
you're all going to be dead, but at least
Mhm.
you won't be woke.
Be the opposite of woke.
Yeah, dude, I died not being woke, so I'm the most not woke. You're like, okay, all right, good job, you did it.
And everybody thinks you're cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's because you're the tempter of the dirt. That's why. Uh, is that a good note to end on? Death?
I think so. I think so. It's always a good note to end on.
Yeah, it's
Murder,
always the
death. I mean,
it's all
there's all those topics.
it is all of our final notes to end on. So
It
that's a
is.
unifying experience.
That's true. That's very true. Well, you'll have an existential crisis now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to give people.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank
You
you so
too.
much. And yeah, we'll be in contact.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Cool. You too. Bye.
Bye.